Y odiada, a muy pocos dejaba indiferente. Para una generación de británicos, Margaret Thatcher fue sinónimo de liderazgo. En el mundo representó al Reino Unido en el momento clave de la caída del comunismo. Dentro del país, en cambio, generaba profundas divisiones. Solo por haber sido la primera mujer primer ministro del Reino Unido, Thatcher ya tiene un lugar en la historia.
Donde hay desacuerdo, quizá traer armonía. Donde hay errores, quizás traer verdad. Donde hay duda, quizá traer fe.
Britain stands tall in the councils of Europe and of the world. Mr. Speaker, over the last decade, we have given power back to the people. The essence of a good government is that it is prepared to take difficult decisions to get the long-term prosperity. That is what we have achieved, and that is why we shall win handsomely when a general election comes. Mr. Speaker, all levels of income are better off than they were in 1979. The Labour Party here is still trying to blow life into those old embers. Imagine a Labour canvasser talking on the doorstep to those East German families when they settled in on freedom's side of the wall. You want to keep more of the money you earn? I'm afraid that's very selfish. We shall want to tax that away. You want to own shares in your firm? We can't have that. The state has to own your firm. You want to choose where to send your children to school? That's very divisive. You'll send your child where we tell you. Mr. President, the trouble with Labour is that they're just not at home with freedom. Socialists don't like ordinary people choosing, for they might not choose socialism.
Moment.
Yes.
That ship was a danger to our boys. That's why that ship was sunk.
Couldn't believe the orders, could he? I mean, when he'd sent the message it changed direction and he asked for verification, he couldn't believe it.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Commander Rayford Brown demanded reconfirmation, did he not?
I do not. I know when we gave the order to sink, and that is all in the public domain. I know it was right to sink her, and I would do the same again.
Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope. What we've got is an attempt to substitute the rule of the mob for the rule of law. And it must not succeed.
High school in California at the time, I wasn't really a highly recruited athlete. Everyone sees me now as Tom Brady, as someone who has achieved 6 Super Bowls, great success in my professional career. But I would say when I was leaving high school, like you guys at the time that you are now, I had no idea that these things would become a part of my life. So when I got to Michigan, I'll tell you guys something. I was the 7th quarterback on the depth chart in football at the time when I got to school at Michigan, number 7. If you can imagine that, I was looking up on the depth chart at so many other guys I would never thought I'd get an opportunity to play. And my first year, I was a redshirt. I sat out the entire year. My second year, I ended up getting a chance to play. I think it was the 4th or 5th game of the year, and it was the first time I had ever stepped field at Michigan Stadium. There were a lot of people watching. We had a big lead, and they already removed a lot of the starters, and they put me in. And it was the start of the 4th quarter, and they gave me a pass play. The coaches called it in, and I dropped back, and I threw the pass. The middle linebacker caught the pass, intercepted it, and ran it back about 45 yards for a touchdown. In my 3rd year, I fought really hard to try to become the starter, but I didn't. And fortunately, our team went on and we went undefeated in college. We were 12-0. And I was the backup quarterback that year, and I had learned a lot from the people above me. And in my 4th year, I finally got a chance to play. And I would say I had a very successful college. I ended up, unfortunately, the starting quarterback got hurt in a game, and I went in at the end of the game. And I never really got taken off the field after that. I think the greatest lesson that I can impart on all of you guys is Your future is going to be what you make of it. Because you're not going to be able to rely on people to do things for you. That's not the way life is. If you want to be great at something, you're going to have to put all your commitment and effort and discipline into doing just that. Things aren't handed to you as you get older. In fact, the things that I learned over the course of my life was the things that I actually worked for the most, that's what I valued the most. Where I put all my hard work and effort and dedication and discipline into, those were the things that really paid off. And when I faced really challenging times and really challenging obstacles, that's when I had to figure out deep down about myself what I was all about. And I realized that I can be more and make more of my own career than what a lot of people thought. And I'm still trying.
Happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom reign. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghanies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God.
I'm speaking to you at what I know is an increasingly challenging time, a time of disruption in the life of our country, a disruption that has brought grief to some, financial difficulties to many, and enormous changes to the daily lives of us all. I want to thank everyone on the NHS frontline, as well as care workers and those carrying out essential roles, who selflessly continue their day-to-day duties outside the home in support of us all. I'm sure the nation will join me in assuring you that what you do is appreciated, and every hour of your hard work brings us closer to a return to more normal times. I also want to thank those of you who are staying at home, thereby helping to protect the vulnerable and sparing many families the pain already felt by those who have lost loved ones. Together we are tackling this disease, and I want to reassure you that if we remain united and resolute, then we will overcome it. I hope in the years to come, everyone will be able to take pride in how they responded to this challenge. And those who come after us will say the Britons of this generation were as strong as any, that the attributes of self-discipline, of quiet, good-humoured resolve, and of fellow feeling still characterize this country. The pride in who we are is not a part of our past. It defines our present and our future. The moments when the United Kingdom has come together to applaud its care and essential workers will be remembered as an expression of our national spirit, and its symbol will be the rainbows drawn by children. Across the Commonwealth and around the world, we have seen heartwarming stories of people coming together to help others, be it through delivering food parcels and medicines, checking on neighbours, or converting businesses to help the relief effort.
One of the keys to Apple is Apple's an incredibly collaborative company. And so, you know how many committees we have at Apple?
No.
0. We have no committees.
No committees.
We are organized like a startup. One person's in charge of iPhone OS software. One person's in charge of Mac hardware. One person's in charge of iPhone hardware engineering. Another person's in charge of worldwide marketing. Another person's in charge of operations. We're organized like a startup. We're the biggest startup on the planet. And we all meet for 3 hours once a week, and we talk about everything we're doing, the whole business. And there's tremendous teamwork at the top of the company, which filters down to tremendous teamwork throughout the company. And teamwork is dependent on trusting the other folks to come through with their part without watching them all the time, but trusting that they're going to come through with their parts. And that's what we do really well. And we're great at figuring out how to divide things up into these great teams that we have and all work on the same thing, touch bases frequently, and bring it all together into a product. We do that really well. And so what I do all day is meet with teams of people and work on ideas and solve problems to make new products, to make new marketing programs, whatever it is.
And are people willing to tell you you're wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, other than snarky journalists. I mean, people that work for you.
Oh, yeah. No, we have wonderful arguments.
And do you win them all? Or?
Oh, no, I wish I did. Oh, see, you can't. If you want to hire great people and have them stay working for you, you have to let them make a lot of decisions, and you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. The best ideas have to win. So, otherwise, good people don't stay.
But you must be more than a facilitator who runs meetings. You obviously contribute your own ideas.
I contribute ideas, sure. Well, why would I be there if I